Welcome friends. In this session, we discuss simply and multiply connected domains. First, definition. A simply connected domain D is a domain such that every simple closed contour within it encloses only points of D. Example, the set of points interior to a simple closed contour is an example for simply connected domain. A domain that is not simple connected is said to be multiply connected. For example, the annular domain between two concentric circles is not simply connected but multiply connected. The following is an extension of Cauchy-Gosat theorem involving a simply connected domain. Theorem says that if a function f is analytic throughout a simply connected domain D, then integral over C f set d set is equal to 0. Equation number 1. This is for every closed contour C lying in D. Proof is like this. Let f be analytic throughout a simple connected domain D and C be a closed contour lying in D. First, let C be a simply closed contour. Then, since C lies entirely within D, f z is analytic at all points interior to and on the simple closed contour. Hence, by Cauchy-Gosat theorem, we have integral over C f z dz is equal to 0. Now, let C be closed but not simple. That is, C is closed and intersect itself a finite number of times. Then, C consists of a finite number of simple closed contours, as in this figure. In the figure, C consists of the simple closed contour C1, C2, C3, C4. That is, we can say C is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus C4. But by applying Cauchy-Gosat theorem to each of these simple closed contours, the value of the integral of f z around each of these simple closed contours Ci is 0. That is, integral over Ck f z dz is equal to 0, where k varies from 1 to x 1, 2, 3, 4. Hence, it follows that integral over C f z dz is equal to integral C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus C4 f z dz, or we can write it as, which is equal to sigma k varies from, it is from 1 to 4 integral of f z dz. This is again which is equal to, this is integral over Ck, here k varies from 1 to 4 integral f z dz, which is equal to sigma k is from 1 to 4 0. That is, the value is equal to 0. If the closed contour has infinite number of self intersection points, then also the result is true. Next, we have a result. The values of the line integrals from Z1 to Z2 are independent of the contours taken so long as those contours lie entirely within the simple connected domain D. The proof is like this. If two contours C1 and C2 each lie in a simply connected domain D and have the same initial and terminal points Z1 and Z2 respectively, then C1 and minus C2 together form a closed contour. Then, by our Cauchy-Gosat theorem, when f is analytic in D, we have 0 is equal to we can write 0 is equal to integral, it is over C1 minus C2 f z dz it is again which is equal to integral over C1 f of z dz plus integral over minus C2 f of z dz, or we can say integral over C1 f of z dz which is equal to integral over C2 f of z dz. Therefore, the values of the line integral from Z1 to Z2 are independent of the contours taken so long as those contours lie entirely within the simply connected domain D. Next corollary is like this: a function f which is analytic throughout a simply connected domain D must have an antiderivative in D. Proof says that let f be a function which is analytic throughout a simply connected domain D. Then clearly that f is continuous throughout D. Let C be any closed contour lying entirely in D. Then by our above theorem, integral over C f z dz is equal to 0. Hence, f z has an antiderivative in D. In view of this corollary, we have the following result, that is, an entire function always possesses antiderivative. Next theorem. Let first one is C be a simple closed contour described in the counterclockwise direction. Here it is in the counterclockwise direction. Second one is C1, C2, etc. Cn be a finite number of simple closed contours all described in the clockwise direction that are interior to C and whose interiors have no points in common. If a function f is analytic throughout the closed region consisting of all points within and on C except for points interior to any Ck, then integral over C f z dz integral over C f z dz plus sigma k varies from 1 to n, k varies from 1 to n, f of z integral over C integral over Ck f of z dz. That is, it is integral over C f z dz plus sigma integral over Ck where k varies from 1 to n f of z dz which is equal to 0. Equation number 2. Proof of the theorem. Let C and Ck, that is k varies from 1 to n, be simple closed contours as given in 1 and 2 of statement of the theorem. To prove the theorem, let us introduce a polygonal path. For example, it is just simply a line L1 to connect the outer contour C to the inner contour C1. We introduce another polygonal path which connects C1 to C2 and we continue in this manner up to Ln plus 1 connecting Cn to C. As indicated in the figure, with n is equal to 2, two simple closed contours, that is gamma 1 and gamma 2, can be formed, each consisting of polygonal path Lk or minus Lk and pieces of C and Ck, and each described in such a direction that the points enclosed by them lie to the left. Then f is analytic within and on both gamma 1 and gamma 2. The Cauchy-Gaussat theorem can now be applied to f on gamma 1 and gamma 2. Hence, integral over, by applying the theorem, integral over gamma 1 f z dz is equal to 0 and integral over gamma 2 f z dz is equal to 0. And also integral over gamma 1 f z dz plus integral over gamma 2, this is actually gamma 1 integral over gamma 2 f z dz is equal to 0. Equation number 3. Since integrals in opposite directions along each path Lk cancel, only integrals along C and Ck remain. Hence, integral over gamma 1 f z dz plus integral over gamma 2 f z dz is equal to integral over C f z dz plus, that is, this is actually which is equal to integral over C f z dz plus sigma k varies from 1 to n integral over Ck f z dz. Equation number 4. Then from equation number 3 and 4 we obtain integral over C f z dz plus sigma k varies from 1 to n integral over Ck f z dz is equal to 0. Here completes the proof. The following is a compact form of the above theorem. That is, we have a corollary principle of deformation of paths. Let C1 and C2 denote two positively oriented simple closed contours where C2 is interior to C1. If a function f is analytic in the closed region consisting of these contours and all points between them, then integral over C1 f z dz is equal to which is equal to integral over C2 f z dz. Proof. Here C1 and C2 denote positively oriented simple closed contours. That is, it is just like this. Here our C2 is in the interior to C1. So, here we have C2, this is our C1 in the direction, that is C1 and C2 denote positively oriented simple closed contours. Now, consider C1 and minus C2. Then C1 is positively oriented and minus C2 is negatively oriented. Also, f is analytic in the closed region consisting of these contours and all points between them. Then, by our theorem 2 with n is equal to 1, integral over C1 f z dz plus integral over minus C2 f z dz is equal to 0. Hence, integral over C1 f z dz is equal to minus integral over minus C2 f z dz, which is same as integral over C2 f z dz. That is integral over C1 f z dz. This we can write as minus integral over minus C2 f z dz. This is again nothing but integral over C2 f z dz. Next remark. The above corollary is called principle of deformation of paths, since it tells us that if C1 is continuously deformed into C2, always passing through points at which f is analytic, then the value of the integral of f over C1 never changes. We can do some examples. That is, evaluate integral over C 1 by z dz, where the C is any positively oriented closed contour surrounding the origin. Solution. Suppose C is any positively oriented, that is counterclockwise closed contour surrounding the region, as we have chosen such a C as in this figure. So, let Fz is equal to 1 by z. Then Fz is analytic everywhere except at z is equal to 0. Choose a real number r greater than 0 such that the circle with the center at the origin and radius r lies completely within C. Let C0 denote the circle mod z is equal to r. That is, C0 denote circle with mod z is equal to r, oriented in the counterclockwise direction. Now, Fz is equal to 1 by z is analytic at all points except where z is equal to 0, where it is not defined. The point z is equal to 0 is not included in the closed region consisting of C0 and C and all points between them. Hence, Fz is analytic in the closed region consisting of C0 and C and all points between them. That is, Fz is equal to 1 by z is analytic in the closed region consisting of C0 and C and all points between them. Hence, by the principle of deformation of paths, we obtain integral over C 1 by z dz is equal to integral over C0 1 by z dz. Equation number 1. C0 can be represented by, that is, z of t is equal to r e raised to I theta. Here it is 0 less than or equal to t, sorry, it is r e raised to I t, not theta, r e raised to I t. Here t varies in between 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. Then f of z of t is equal to 1 by z of t. Here we have z of t is equal to r e raised to I t. So, 1 by z of t is equal to 1 by r into e raised to minus I t, and z dash of t, that is, z of t is equal to r e raised to I t. So, z dash of t is equal to, derivative of this is r into I into e raised to I t. Hence, integral over C integral over C f z dz, which is equal to f z is 1 by z, that is integral over C 1 by z dz, which is equal to integral over C0 1 by z dz. Which is equal to integral over C0 f z dz, that is, which we can write as integral 0 to 2 pi. Here we have f of z, that is f of z of t z dash of t dt, f of z of t again z dash of t dt. Now, you have to substitute the values of f of z of t and z dash of t, and you have to integrate, that is, which is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi. Our f of z of t is 1 by r into e raised to minus I t, and of course, z dash of t is r into I into e raised to I t dt. Now, taking the constant terms outside, and we can cancel this r and r. This is equal to integral over 0 to 2 pi It is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi. What remains inside the integral? It remains only I dt. That is, I is a constant, and now you have to apply the limit, upper limit and lower limit for t. So, it becomes I into 2 pi, or you can say it is equal to 2 pi I. We usually write it as 2 pi I. So, here we discussed simple and connected domains, and we have so many examples also. Next we have Cauchy integral formula that we will discuss in the next session. Hope you enjoy this session. See you next time. Till then, take care.